Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here today to talk about a spicy topic today, international dating scams. We'll be talking about some online dating scams, what to avoid, and also exploring why some of these people might have gotten into such predicaments. And don't you worry, we'll be talking about dating scams for the gentlemen and the ladies out there. And I'm excited to talk about some of the different countries where some of these things happen. And without further ado, my good partner in crime to help me explore these issues, my good buddy Jared. What's going on today, Jared?
Hello. Yeah. International dating scams. First of all, this is a Chad thought of topic, just to be clear. Now, usually when we do these virtual ones, your background has some relation to the topic that we're doing. So what I'm seeing behind you is some sort of super glitzy and glamorous club. Maybe in Europe somewhere, Russia, I feel like, or like Miami, maybe. What's the relation there?
You're getting pretty close there. Well, first of all, for all of our listeners out there to check out this background, you can check us out on YouTube.
That's true.
Untranslatable Podcast.
Yeah.
Or on Instagram as well, Untranslatable Podcast. But anyways, this background here, Jared, this is actually a nightclub, I believe, in Kiev, in Ukraine.
Okay.
Which is a spot that does have this nightclub in specific does not have any like specific significance, but just the idea is, being in Kiev, Ukraine. And I will say this episode has kind of been influenced by 90 Day Fiancé. And there's also a YouTube channel, Jared, that I want to give an early shout out to. I believe the channel is called Wet Sock or something like that. It's kind of a goofy name, but they've done a lot of videos on 90 Day Fiancé. And 90 Day Fiancé is where I saw two of these gentlemen who have dropped thousands and thousands of dollars on online dating to talk to these Ukrainian women, and Kiev is one of the places where they meet up. So there you go.
I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That club, by the way, looks like my worst nightmare.
Once lockdown is lifted, Jared, this is the first place I'm taking you.
You might see me in the middle of the dance floor, like, yeah, got my vaccine.
Right.
By the way, not speaking of vaccines, but COVID probably. Have you seen I assume you were abreast to what was happening with the Ku Klux Klan, as the Time of India called it. The C-O-U-P, Klux Klan.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, that's what the Times of India called it. They really put
2021 redneck putsch, as I like to call it.
Don triggers mob and Rob bid. That's what. That's a good title, by the way.
That is a good headline.
That's why I put it there. But yeah, that was a wild thing to watch.
It was. Have you seen some of the memes that have sprung up because of it?
I don't think I have.
There are some really good ones. So what happened was that was what, on
the 6th
Wednesday,
or the 7th?
Was it this week? Yeah. So 6 days into 2021, and we already have something crazy going on.
I've seen the memes saying 2021 is really I don't know. Keep going. Sorry, I can't even think of them now. I mean, I can think of them, but I can't explain them.
Well, so what's funny about what happened, though, and let me just say what happened itself is not funny, I'm saying the aftermath.
Yeah.
And so this is what, a couple of the memes and just some stories afterwards are what's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. And some of them I think are a good example of karma. So first of all, there was one guy that was wearing like a buffalo helmet.
Yeah.
And had his face painted, and
he had like the whole like animal skin outfit.
Yep. And someone called it the like buffalo mankini or something is what they started calling it. And the irony is some people had said that this dude was affiliated with Antifa, which is like a far left-leaning organization. And obviously this guy is a Trumper, not Antifa. So that pissed him off. So he went online himself to say, no, I am a part of QAnon and all this other stuff.
He was highly insulted.
Right.
It's been wild to watch. Just like not wild. I mean, I guess it's good. But like now, people are just getting fired and arrested left and right. Like the dude that put his feet up.
Let me
on
see if I can
Pelosi's
find
desk.
some of these memes, Jared.
Okay, yeah, I want to see some of them. Oh, by the way, while you're looking up these memes, you know who can't post memes anymore?
Yes.
By the way, you know why I'm bringing this up?
Why is that?
Because in Svish and Yaden, we made 2021 predictions. One of my predictions was Trump was going to get permanently suspended from Twitter. It happened like 8 days in.
Right, you're right.
So I called it, by the way.
You did.
That was very satisfying. I'm like, holy shit. And I literally like wrote it down to make sure I told you. It's like, but I never forget when I'm right. So I didn't even need to write it down.
Right. All right, Jared, we're going to try something new today for the Untranslatable podcast. I'm going to share my screen with you here. And one moment here. Let me get to it. Can you see this right here, buddy?
I do see it, yes.
So let's look through some of these memes. You are right, though, Jared, about being banned.
Did you see the stuff he posted, though?
I did not. No,
he posted.
You know, I'm not on Twitter.
Well, sure.
Oh, here's the guy I was talking about. By the way,
yeah,
right there.
And then
this is funny.
Oh my gosh.
So here's one of the first memes. Kim and Kanye divorce. Kanye and Jeffree Star hook up. Capitol Hill storm. Civil War and Area 51 have all been trending in one day. 2020 showing 2021 around the workplace. And you see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and then the It clown there. U.S. Capitol security. It's like a meme with the Cheeto one.
I saw a hilarious tweet where it's like name things that are. Give me things that are more secure than the U.S. Capitol. Right answers only, and it was like my Google, my Gmail account when I log in from a new device.
Right.
Oh my gosh!
I love this one from Hoodville. Hoodville is a really great Instagram page. If
I've
you
never
haven't
heard
seen
of Hoodville.
Check it out. Oh, Hoodville is great.
I'm gonna follow Hoodville.
But anyways, yeah. So me in the U.S. Capitol building. So it's like a guy looking down from like a ceiling tile, and he says, "Me in the U.S. Capitol building, looking for that stash of stimmy checks."
I love how they call them
And for our non-U.S. listeners out there, stimmy checks would be a stimulus check, which is $600 coming in from the government. Oh yes, I love it. This one's great, Jared. We got Paul Blart, the mall cop, and then some other mall cop just another mall cop. Black Twitter. How did they get in the Capitol? I thought they had security. The security. And then
Paul Blart on his Segway.
Yeah. Oh man, these are great. Password. Oh man. Anyways,
do you know?
Oh yeah, this was one of the funnier ones that I saw, which is like a different type of character game. So you have like a healer, a cleric, a rogue. You have all these different idiots from the storming.
Now, let me say this. By the way, every time I see a picture of some of these people, I'm like, I feel like that person looks familiar. It actually got to the point where I like looked up someone's Instagram. I was like, is that? And I was like, no. I was about to just narc on somebody that wasn't there.
Right. Well, the funny thing is, Jared, is one of the guys had his work badge on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, how stupid can you be?
Well, I mean, yeah, and this is the one time where it's like you did like. I know you guys are all against masks, but this is the perfect example of a great time to wear a mask. Like, like it's just it's like it's ridiculous. And then
and here's the thing. You can even wear a mask that like kind of makes you look like a badass. I'm not gonna lie. There's
true.
Definitely been times where I put the mask on and I feel like I'm kind of like
there were certainly
like a
people
or something.
I saw pictures of people with gear that they were like, "Oh, you've been waiting to like have some excuse to use the surplus military gear you have."
Right. You know what's the craziest thing about that whole well, maybe not the craziest thing, but a crazy thing about that storming though, Jared, is one of the people who died was actually, I think, an Air Force vet. Served 14 years in the Air Force, and I saw a meme online that was like, how do you serve 14 years in the Air Force and then end up dying a traitor?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I just can't imagine, like, that's how you go out. You storm the, I just don't get what were these people thinking, Jared?
Well,
I just really
let
don't
me
get
say
it.
this. It's not over. I don't think it's over at all. I think there's more to come. I mean, this is going to be a wild 2 weeks. I really think this is just the beginning because they failed miserably.
It might not end even after those 2 weeks.
Well, I agree with you. But I think we're gonna see. I agree with you, but I think we're gonna see more in the next 2 weeks. I'm not gonna say I'm concerned. I think I saw Roy Wood Jr. He tweeted, "We might as well make this a Zoom inauguration. Kamala and Joe can get signed in on the eDocu sign."
Right.
It's like,
you got that great annotation tool where you can just drop your signature in there anyways. Let's just
give them a stylus and an iPad.
Right. That would be a really fascinating thing for the history book, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but that would only further people wanting to like delegitimize this presidency. That's the thing. You also kind of got to like show these people like I'm not scared, but it's like I'd be scared.
Yeah, I'd be a little worried.
Yeah, out there shaking
without a doubt.
I was like, no, I wasn't scared. It was just cold out.
I'm not nervous at all.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm interested to see where it goes. But that was a wild thing to watch unfold. And then some people just like walked in,
Mm-hmm. That's what I don't get, because I've actually been inside the Capitol building, I think twice.
Yeah.
And I had to go through security, and it was not like I just walked in,
Sure.
But
like you can walk around freely, but probably not during a pandemic and while they're doing proceedings for the next president.
Good point.
But but yeah, like even when you can walk around quote unquote freely, you still have to go through pretty heavy security.
Exactly. It's crazy stuff, man.
Yeah,
crazy stuff without a doubt. Well, Jared, should we spread a little love?
Yeah, let's stay positive. Spread a little
love. Positive. Stay positive. All right. Well, my first one, Jared, this is just a great and heartwarming story here. This is from the Washington Post, and the headline is, "So many pets have been adopted during the pandemic that shelters are running out." They're going like hotcakes. I don't know why I read that in a British accent, so that's just kind of fun. But they are going like hotcakes, said one
that's
operator
a weird way
of
to
an
explain
animal shelter.
But hey, I get it.
In Maryland, right? Yeah. Well, Jared, if you can't enjoy them as pets, at least they can be a snack. No, I'm just kidding. Don't eat your pets, people. But yeah, going like hotcakes. I don't know. Well, Jared, it just means they're going fast off the shelves, I guess. But yeah,
it is kind of weird. I understand the untranslatable.
Yeah, I know you do. Anyways. So animal shelters in the Washington region are experiencing a unique problem. As the coronavirus pandemic has kept more residents at home, it has created such a high demand for adopting dogs that the supply is increasingly limited. Some shelters and humane rescue groups are seeing double the typical number of requests from people to adopt dogs since the pandemic hit the United States in early spring. As organizations have switched their in-person adoptions to virtual meet and greets, they're also competing with rescue groups in other parts of the country to bring in animals. We thought people would stop adopting because they would need to conserve their money, says Cindy Sharpley, founder of the director of Last Chance Animal Rescue, a nonprofit animal shelter in Waldorf. But that hasn't happened. It's been just the opposite. They're going like hotcakes. We can hardly keep them in stock. It sounds almost like
that's not how Americans operate. It's not.
Right.
This is a spending. This all runs on spending. There's no stopping this. People aren't. There's no conserving of money happening during a pandemic.
Right.
People are living their lives, except for obviously the people that have lost their jobs. And that's
I will say this though, Jared. The pandemic has definitely made me think more about priority spending a little bit and like reevaluating money. And I think for some people really love pets and they realize, you know what, if I got sick and I could die sometime, in
that's
the future, near
to
future,
justify getting a pet.
It is, but I think might be what some people are doing.
You think that's how people think?
Or they're just thinking, I'm stuck at home.
No, I don't think it's that. I think people are just lonely.
What is it?
Yeah, I think people are just lonely, I think it's probably that. Especially, I don't know if it's either people are lonely or it's like, a couple or something and they're sick of each other, I think it's more something like that. I don't think it's like, hey, I've always wanted a dog and I could die any day. Let me enjoy this dog for possibly my last few months on this planet, even though I have not had any sort of sickness, and I'm just hoping I don't hoping I don't get COVID.
I mean it more so in just, I guess, seeing what's more important to you.
I see.
Right. But you're right. That is, I guess, a little ridiculous, but a little ridiculous. But the other thing is that I think a lot of people during this time, who have gotten jobs have been working from home. I predict that a lot of there will continuously be work from home, probably more so in the works.
For sure,
from
it
other
works.
companies and stuff.
We see it works. Companies are
I think
doing
it works pretty well.
Just all right,
Right. It you're at home working from online, working remotely, so you can easily be searching for your next Russian or Filipino or Ukrainian or Thai or American or Canadian or Venezuelan lover while you're working.
For a
you
hot
can
sec,
easily do
I'm
that.
like, where the hell is he going with this? And I was like, all right.
I like to keep you on your toes.
I know
Jed.
you
I got to
do,
keep you on your toes.
And that was, or you could be looking.
But you know what?
No, go ahead. No, please.
You know what the best way to do that though is, Jared?
No.
Is through some solid untranslatables.
Okay,
Because if you want to impress the ladies or the gentlemen, this is for the ladies and the gentlemen.
That's true.
If you want to impress them, you gotta be able to speak some things in their language, which leads to our untranslatables, which are idioms, proverbs, sayings, phrases, words that don't translate on a one-to-one basis into English, and we are your certified, tried and true untranslatable experts. I think we have probably a PhD at this point in untranslatables. I would be willing to argue. We are still waiting for our honorary degrees from Harvard or Stanford, but we're waiting patiently here. And Jared, would you mind getting us started with an untranslatable today?
Sure. Mine is a perfect for this episode too, by the way. It's Spanish, specifically, from Costa Rica, and is detrás del palo. Oh wait, excuse me. Detrás. I have two of them, but they mean the same thing. So it's two different untranslatables that mean the same thing. Detrás de la palo. Do you know what that means? Any of those words?
I don't. No.
Behind the tree. Behind the tree.
Okay. So is this? Well, this is like when someone does something secretive, right?
No,
doing something sneaky.
No. I'll give you the
you're
second
like
one.
hiding behind the
tree. I think the second one is a little easier. Me ando fuera del tarro. I can't roll my R's.
Tarro?
Yeah.
Tarro? Sorry, I went a little ham on that one.
Do you know what any of those words? Me ando fuera del tarro.
I've heard fuera, but I don't know what it means.
That's funny. Taking a pee out of the can.
Okay.
Taking a pee out of the can. I'm just taking a pee out of the can. Hey, Chad.
Like a pea, like the vegetable pea?
Chad, just take a pee out of the can and tell me what you think the untranslatable is.
Take a guess.
Yeah, sure, but it's we kind of have sure, yeah, yes, but it's like take a stab in the dark, or like you like speak on a topic you don't know anything about, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So it's like just take a wild stab in the dark, take a pee out of the can.
That's a good one. Okay.
Or
I like that.
Just go behind the tree, or go behind the tree. I don't know. Maybe I need another verb on behind the tree.
What? Yeah.
Or
what does
you're
that
just
one
talking behind the tree. Maybe you're just taking a wild stab in the dark. Maybe that could be what it is.
Oh, they both mean the same thing.
Yes, that's what I said.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, well, my first one for you is Tagalog, which is spoken in the Philippines, and it is this one's kind of funny, Jared, because the untranslatable here is bahala na. Bahala means care or responsibility. Na means already. But the untranslatable, if you really want to impress someone in the Philippines, you would actually want to say bahala na si Batman.
Batman, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, I would obviously, I'm not a Tagalog speaker, so I could be wrong about this. But with my experience with languages, I would guess that this phrase here, bahala na si Batman, means the responsibility is already Batman's.
There's nothing you can do about it. Essentially, is what that means. Like it's
yes,
you're getting
very
the problems
close.
Out of your hands. You have no control.
I'll
over
give it
the-
to you.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. Yeah. Yeah, this basically means that you are entrusting the uncertainty of a situation to a higher being, nature, or fate.
Okay,
so
it's
yes.
on Batman now. You know, it's
Yeah.
like good
Right.
luck, essentially.
Right. Mhm.
Only Batman
Exactly.
can save you.
Exactly.
When you're trying to, pick up some of these, no, that's not going to make any sense. Actually, I'll keep going. Yeah, it will make sense. I have a. Sometimes, it seems like when you're watching these international dating scam shows that you love so dearly. Actually, I'm sure there are some Brazilians in there, and sometimes you might want to say "a batata tá assando" when you watch
Can
these.
you say that one more time?
A batata tá assando. Batata is a word, and then ta comes after that, and then assando. A batata tá assando. A batata tá assando.
And what does that mean?
The potato is baking.
Oh, is that like when you have chemistry with somebody and you're like,
No, that's a good guess. No, but it's no.
we should make that our own untranslatable right there. The potato's bacon.
That's what you see. Because I imagine in these in a lot of these international dating scam things, the attraction seems more one-sided on one side of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems like one person is more into it. And when you see the sort of dynamic, the way I feel is like a potato is baking, you know? Like this relationship does not look like it's going to last.
So that's what it means? A relationship's not going to last?
Not specifically. No, that's not what it means. I didn't just give it to you. I'm still giving you clues.
Does it mean that there's just like
yeah, come on.
like troubles a brewing?
There we go.
Troubles a brewing is what we'd say.
A disaster is on the way, yes.
Right.
Trouble is brewing
Right.
is a perfect American
like that one.
untranslatable or English untranslatable.
All right, let me try to see if I can actually get this one. Well, I'm going to attempt to pronounce it. This is Ukrainian, so I'm sure I'll pronounce it incorrectly. Also, I'm attempting to read Cyrillic, which I'm not great at yet. But
hey,
here
every
we go,
time
Jared.
I've given you Cyrillic, you've nailed it.
I don't know if I'd say nailed it, but I've been able to figure it out. All right, so this one is Pidsinisti Svinyu, which means I believe this means to plant a pig on someone, Jared. To plant a pig on someone.
Is that like to trick someone into something?
Very good, Jared. Very good.
Yeah.
The Igor planted pig on him. He has been working as online chatter. He is a female lady. He chat to many old American men.
So we're talking about international dating scams, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to tell you
That
the
is
only
correct.
thing I really know about international dating scams. I've never really watched any of these shows. I've heard of obviously 90 Day Fiancé and essentially what the topic is. You know, I know that egg-looking guy. That was
Big Ed. Big Ed. Yep.
Ed the Egg. I know that he's been memeified to death. Well, not anymore, but he was a couple months ago. But the only thing I really know about international dating scams besides that is like the concept of like a mail order bride, you know, which I don't even really know what that is. Like you go online and you like essentially like the Amazon for women from various countries.
Well, Jared,
what is that?
I'm definitely no expert in it, but what I can tell you is the way I first found out about the concept of mail order brides, I actually had a high school teacher who had a mail order bride.
Okay.
He was in his 60s, I would guess. Now, I'm not sure how long he and his wife had been married, but she was a lot younger than him.
Where was she from?
Younger than him.
Was she like Russia?
Yeah,
or
take a guess.
Russia? Philippines?
I think she was either Filipina or Vietnamese, maybe.
This seems that seems sad.
From somewhere over there. well, the interesting thing about mail order brides, Jared, is one. I mean, this is where you do definitely hear about scams for sure.
Is it a scam, or how is it a scam if this is specifically what someone is hiring?
Well, so
hiring. That's so weird.
Well, some people spend tons and tons and tons of money to these matchmaking services,
and they never get the bride.
Or they have a mail order bride, and then I've heard horror stories of the mail order bride coming over. They get the green card, and then they bail.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful. But yeah, as I said in the beginning of the episode, the whole reason why we're talking about this today is because, for some odd reason, I had a YouTube recommended video for 90 Day Fiancé, and
for some reason
the video was, or the headline of the video, title of the video was, man spends $40K on Ukrainian fiancé or whatever, and she ended up, they had some like trip planned for Mexico. She ended up obviously not showing up. He had paid for the tickets, had paid all this money. And what happens is a lot of these poor, lonely gentlemen, they end up spending hundreds upon thousands of dollars through these matchmaking services.
But it does work out sometimes. Like you can.
Oh, of course.
I guess you just got to find the right agency. It's hard. It's probably hard to get good referrals for the mail order bride
actually,
service.
Jared.
Do you know a lot of people in your life that? Oh, I guess you know one. I know zero, maybe one that I don't know about. I don't know.
Well, I know a couple. I definitely met a couple. I know a couple of dudes in China that for sure had a couple. I don't know if you'd consider it mail order or how you would consider it, but point being here, Jared, is that
wait, and I think in China also, they had mail order brides.
Yeah.
Where do they?
I mean,
where do they come from?
I've heard Mongolia. I've heard Indonesia, and some of these were to Chinese men, because in China there's a huge gap. There's way more men than there are women.
I love how you're justifying. That's a terrible justification for.
I'm not justifying it. I'm saying that's why I think there are a lot of guys who go out to seek these mail order brides, and I think in the States.
So is there such a big gap that that there are a lot of men out there that are shit out of luck, where it's like
they just won't be able to get married because there are so many more men than there are women. Mathematically speaking, there are not enough in China, enough men.
How does that?
Enough women, because of the one-child policy.
Oh, right. Okay.
We are the generation. We're old enough now where we're starting to see the effects of some of these things.
Because I remember hearing about that as a kid, but I never really fully. I don't believed it because I just heard about it from other kids.
Right. Sure.
But yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's sad.
But what's interesting about the whole mail order bride, or even just this online internet dating with like international, a lot of it, on the one hand, I think for men, you see a lot of it older single men who are going for younger girls in Eastern Europe, in Asia, stuff like that. But then you also do see dating scams. I don't know if it's so much international, but you do see dating scams sometimes for older single women who will get catfished by good-looking guys who will say they're... what's interesting, Jared, I did some homework for today's episode, and some of the top careers for dating scams for women, men will say they're doctors. Actually,
Sure.
Here, let me have you guess some. So doctors is one of them.
Yeah, that's obvious.
What other occupations do you think
lawyer
people use?
Is obvious.
Sure. Some of these might surprise you. Think a little bit outside of the box.
Social media influencer?
No. Think about if you were a man trying to market yourself,
right.
to an ideally probably an older single lady,
some sort of like police officer or firefighter or something.
Take that one step even further.
Oh, like in the military.
There we go.
Okay.
Yep.
People pretending to be in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that.
Now, what's interesting?
Wait,
though,
these are the jobs that the men pretend. So you're talking about how? So you mentioned before. So this is like these are the men that are trying to get mail order brides. They'll lie about their.
No. I'm saying these are men who are trying to scam women.
Oh, okay, and they okay. Wait, scam them how? I'm confused. So they're mail order husbands.
No, that's the thing, Jared. In order for it to be a scam, and I've seen this a couple times online, has been where they'll meet on some like chat room, or they'll meet online somewhere on some online dating app or website. And generally it's, like I said, a lot of times what I've seen, at least, it's been older women who have been single, and I think with men and women, when we see these scams, the reason why these people get scammed is they're just so lonely. You know, they're lonely and they want why else would you go on a dating site? You know, you're looking for someone to be in a relationship with. You're looking for romance, for love, whatever. So these poor people go on these websites looking for these kinds of things, and then they get taken advantage of by people who know how to play to their emotions. They know how to,
what sort of examples of that have you seen? Like, were there more professions that did I get all the professions?
You pretty much hit most of them. Yeah, doctor, lawyer, military seems to be a big one. And military, the reason why military seems to be a big one for male scammers, like to scam females, is because they'll say a lot of times, "Oh, I'm traveling back from somewhere and I need money," and so people will send money. And the first thing I would advise any of our listeners out there, I have a feeling most of our listeners are smart enough not to get involved in these scams, but hey, you never know. You never know who could be listening to this 5 to 10 years from now. But the key with internet dating scams is, I think if you ever need to pay money either to someone or to a service. What I mean to a service is, like, if you need to pay money to send messages to someone.
That's very helpful. Thank you, Chad.
I know Jared was really concerned about that.
I typed in international dating scams because I knew nothing about this, just to see what came up, and I got like a lot of government sites. One of them was the FBI, FBI.gov. To be clear, so the FBI website giving the top advice. Excuse me, not top advice. Take them out for a nice dinner. No, tips for avoiding romance scams.
Send them Bitcoin.
Tips for avoiding romance scams. So it was a big enough deal for them to be like, all right, let's put together a page on our website with some videos.
Let's hear it. Let's hear them, Jared.
So here are the tips from the FBI for avoiding romance scams. Be careful what you post and make public online. Scammers can use details shared on social media and dating sites to better understand and target you. That makes sense. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Actually, I recently, and I rarely even use my Instagram, but I'm like, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna put it on private. There's no reason for it to just be open. It's like I don't even use it except for just to scroll anyway. So anyway. Research the person's photo and profile using online searches to see if the image, name, or details have been used elsewhere. Have you ever done, Chad? Have you ever done a Google image search?
No, because I've never used these websites before.
Did you know but just in general, like you can like Google search an image.
Oh yeah, I know you can do that. Of course.
Yeah, that's a fun thing to do.
It's a useful thing to do. Yeah,
a great way to see if someone's using like just some stock photo or like just like a military man from United States.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just gives you some generic picture. Beware if go slowly and ask a lot of questions.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I would agree with that for any relationship.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't have to do that just to avoid scams. Just to do that to avoid a bad relationship. Beware if the individual seems too perfect or quickly. This is not good advice. I'm going to be honest with you.
Can we give some better untranslatable advice?
Better untranslatable
because I think I have some better
advice.
tips.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Let's give them a couple untranslatable tips to avoid online dating scams, Jared. Number one, as I've already mentioned, do not send money to anyone you do not know.
They did say that. The FBI did say that. But that is a great, obviously, piece of advice. That should be higher up on the list.
Yep, that's number one,
also,
in my opinion. First one.
Stick to sites that we've all heard of. Don't there's no reason.
Don't go to Anastasia FoxyLady22.com.
You can meet people on sites that we all are aware of that are even I don't know, just like find it's like a community on Reddit. I don't know, go find some weird community on Reddit and to hang out there for a bit. Maybe there's no reason for you to find sites that like this is the first time you've ever heard of. Don't go to random sites that have like .co.xx.cuo .uk.rs, you know?
Whoa. our buddies in the UK might be unhappy with that one, Jared.
Yeah, hey, you know if it's a .co.uk, it's going to be a shady website. No, I'm just...
Exactly. Very, very shady. So definitely don't give money. Use a reputable site or source.
Yeah.
I would also say, Jared, to be honest with you, if you are really hell-bent, and some people are very hell-bent on marrying or meeting or dating someone of a specific country or ethnicity or whatever, if that's what you're really trying to do, go to the country. I think it's okay if you want to, try to meet a couple people, I guess, before you go. That's fine. But I wouldn't put too much time, energy, or effort into it. I just think some people spend so much time, and the more time you spend on these sites, just chatting with all these random people online. I mean, I would maybe try to get to know someone a little bit, but then, try to not spend all your waking hours on that website and then go over there.
Yeah, but see, this advice that we say means nothing though, because to even get to a point where you're this convinced that you're in love with someone that you never met to the point where you're ready to marry them, that's kind of less delusion, So it's we're not here to. That's why, I think the first two bits of advice, the don't send money and use a site that we've all heard of, that is something that even the delusional can do, It's
Right.
You can still be delusional and find yourself with these international strange lovers that you're paying to have come, live with you. But, I don't know, at least use PayPal where you can refute the charges.
Nope. I'm going to say nope. Don't even use PayPal, Jared. Just don't be spending your money.
What's
it's
the
not
point?
worth your money.
See, this is why giving advice makes no sense then, or tips for avoid. Because what's the point? Because if people want to do this, then the whole point of it is that at some point, money is going to need to be involved. These people
here's the thing.
have the excuse, especially if you're meeting someone from some random country that you don't know anything about, you've never been to, and these people are saying, "I don't have any money, and I'd love to come. I'd love to see you, but I don't have any money." Where it's okay, then once they're in that situation, there's no tips. There's no tips for avoiding.
Right.
It's
yes, I agree with you.
But
my whole point here, Jared, is you should not be spending your hard-earned money to just meet random people on the internet. Save that money for a plane ticket to go over to that place.
Yeah, sure.
Spend some time learning the actual language and the culture a little bit, and I think that's going to take you so much further than just talking to a bunch of randos. And I bet you half of the time, if you're using a not reputable website, you're not even talking to the person who you think you're talking to.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, at least with 90 Day Fiancé, when I first started watching this dude's videos on YouTube, I'm pretty sure the channel's called I thought it was called Wet Socks or something funny like that. But this guy has a bunch of really good, commentary on 90 Day Fiancé. And the whole concept of 90 Day Fiancé, for those of you who aren't aware, in the U.S. to get what's called I believe it's called a K-1 visa, what happens is the person comes over and you have 90 days to get married, and then they can stay in the U.S. And I will admit, Jared, I had talked about this with my ex before, so that's why I do know some of these things. But now I met my ex in a country. I didn't meet her on some random, dating website,
Were you ever concerned that you might be involved in an international dating scam?
No, I don't think so. But
yeah, but
you
naive.
never know. I mean, I'm very naive.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm not saying you're involved in any scams.
It's the website. The YouTube channel, though, Jared, is called Your Wet Sock. So check them out. Shout out to them, because that's really where the motivation to even do this episode today came from, at least on my end. But it was just so funny to see these two guys. And what I found funny was it was two gentlemen who were that had spent a lot of money on these dating sites or sending. One guy, I guess, spent a lot of money using the website. The other guy, he actually, I think, had the girl's number and stuff on WhatsApp, but he had sent her money. He had sent her about $40,000. I believe the dude's name was Caesar. He actually works at a nail salon, I believe, in Florida. And both of these guys, I felt so bad because one, it's how can you do this and not see what's happening? but they're so blinded by love and infatuation.
Do any of these stories that you see on this show have a happy ending where they're like, and they lived happily ever after?
No.
Now they have two kids and they live in a little suburb outside. Does that ever happen?
I haven't watched enough of 90 Day Fiancé to tell you. Like I said, most
probably
of the
not.
stuff
That
I've
doesn't
seen,
make good television. No one wants to see that.
Exactly. I'm sure it does happen, but exactly like you said, Jared, it's just not on TV because they're probably quote unquote normal people living hopefully a happy life.
Right.
But I mean, the tricky thing is that with both of these guys, I think I could tell that there were kind of two things I think that were happening. Why these guys had gotten so invested, Jared. And so let me kind of try to explain the not that I have ever spent $40K on somebody like this before, but I think with both of these guys, I mean the women from these dating websites were absolutely gorgeous. The one woman's name was Lana Svetlana, and I forget the name of the other lady. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I just thought of a mail order bride situation that I remember from Dodgeball. Okay. Remember one of the guys on the Average Joe's team? He was the kind of the nerdy guy. He had a mail order bride that was a real asshole to him. You remember that?
Yep.
Like that's sort of. He seemed happy though. I don't know. Sorry, I just find the idea like it really only does seem like a punchline, I honestly at this point I might find it entertaining to see like success stories, because it's not shocking to me to hear that all these stories are bad and it seems real shady, because it's like, yeah, of course, like the internet is a shady place to buy a human, essentially. It's like,
right.
I mean, any place is a shady place to buy a human. Let's be clear. But it's like, how is this going to go well? So I'd honestly be like I'd be interested to see what a success story looks like. Well,
what's interesting about that though, Jared, is I forget the name of the website, but I was reading this Ask Me Anything about a guy that started a website where they did matchmaking. So it wasn't like a mail order bride where you would just pay and then like you would pick up a woman at the airport. What they would do is these guys would fly over to Kiev, to Ukraine, and then they would mingle and meet with all these girls, and then if there was a connection with them, then they would could start courting in a relationship and what have you. That to me seems like obviously a much more legitimate service.
Sure.
And this guy actually had said that he actually thinks that they have less divorces if they actually do marry for the right reasons. Now, if it's obviously some old slouch dude...
Okay.
Well, let me explain. Okay. So if you have this old slouch dude coming from the West to marry some girl from Eastern Europe, I mean, this is kind of the stereotypical story, right? You hear about this old, probably hopefully wealthier or well-to-do dude that goes over to Eastern Europe or even Asia, meets a younger lady, brings them back to the States, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times what you hear is what can happen is they'll bring the girls back, and then after the girls get the green card, they either run for the hills or they get a divorce. Now deuces.
Peace.
Now some of them, but I do think some of them that I think if you are really honest with what you want and what you expect out of the relationship, and if both people are being honest with you, that's the key here.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee for honesty ever.
That's just. That's got to be up there as one of the in the shadier businesses.
Right. But what's interesting though is I think for a lot of people they have to come to some sort of agreement. Well,
I wonder if these people just like every day on the dating apps are just like but before they get to the point when they go to the mail order, are they just like maxing out their swipes on all dating apps and just striking out 99% of like what I don't even think that's it. I don't even think that's the mentality. I don't think that's the mentality. Actually, I don't even want to simplify it to that. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I wonder. How does it work? You know what I wonder? Mm-hmm. Not even the now. I'm curious about like with these situations that you're seeing. I imagine there are family members like mother, sister, brother, or like friends involved. Are the friends just like, oh, this is Andy's new wife, and now we go to dinner together, and our families travel together. On what happens there in these shows?
It's a good question.
Oh, they don't talk about the family.
Like I said, I've just watched videos that are like breakdowns of short clips.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, but I don't know. I would imagine with some of them, I'm sure they do get along. It's just like anything, Jared. I mean, I think
I feel like my parents wouldn't react well to that. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like they'd be like, who's this?
But at the same time, Jared, I agree with you. But imagine if you actually went to one of those countries and you stayed there for a while, and that's how you met somebody. I think then your parents might think a little differently.
Of course, but if I told them, I met her on hotwives.cx, they might be. That's concerning, I would say. Don't go to that site, by the way. I just made that up. You'll probably get a virus.
Right, no kidding. But anyways, I do want to talk a little bit more about these guys, though, from 90 Day Fiancé, because it's just such a crazy story. So this David dude, Jared, he went to the Ukraine like 4 or 5 times, and almost every time this Lana chick has ghosted him or said they were going to meet and blew him off.
Yeah.
And it's like this guy, I feel so bad for him because he's so foolish. And on one level though, I know where he's coming from in terms of he's so enamored by what he thinks this woman is that I think he's just not willing to really accept the reality. The reality is I think he's really being scammed.
Sure, he's definitely being scammed. But I think also a part of it is like he's gone this far, Like I think he's invested so much time and money where it's like it has to be real at this point,
Exactly.
Where it's like,
that's,
I'm not
I think,
crazy.
One of the biggest issues.
This is he's gone way too far down the trying to convince himself that he's not crazy to where now he has to be all in, Where it's like, no, this is real.
Yeah, it's just a bummer to see people so.
It's not a bummer. You
that.
Love this shit. What are you talking about?
I mean, well, yeah, all right, fair
it's a
enough.
bummer. You're like, I've been really enjoying this guy making fun of these people and watching it, but it's.
Well, I guess
it is a bummer.
I guess
for
the
sure.
reason.
Because
I guess the reason
so
why
obvious.
I like to watch it, Jared. That's true. It is obvious.
I wonder if he watches it back. I mean, it's out.
No,
He can't see it.
No.
But he has the ability to see it like we all do. Does he see himself? Like hear him. I wonder if does he hear what he's saying? Yeah, he probably doesn't watch it.
The funny thing is all of these guys, they seem fairly even. I hate to say it, but even this Big Ed dude, even him, they all seem like they have at least a base level of some common sense and or intellect.
Right, they're not complete idiots.
Right.
I mean, this Ed guy, from what I've seen, at least on social media, has way too much confidence.
Right.
And way too much expectations for looking like an egg.
Which is interesting, though, because I think the other guys, it's kind of the opposite.
Right.
I think I myself would never have tolerated or gone through what these dudes have gone through.
Yeah, but I would never have the confidence of Big Ed.
That's true. That's true. No, I don't think that's actually true, Jared. I think you got the right level of confidence.
Oh no, I'm saying I would never have Big Ed confidence, but I also probably wouldn't have the naivete of one of these other people.
Right. Yeah, it's just so crazy though to see all of these red flags and then just watch these people just continuously do the same things to themselves over and over and over and over again.
Well, you also got to think that it is edited to cut together.
Probably.
Like this stuff happens over I feel like a much longer period than it seems like, even though they tell you like it's not like, I don't know. I feel like I could imagine how it happens. It's kind of weird to think how it could I can imagine this happening in like the what do you call it? Like the late aughts, like from like 2007 to like 2013, I could see this becoming a big thing. But as the internet becomes more and more ubiquitous and safe ways of communication become more and more ubiquitous, the idea of doing this to this level where you have to go down this, I don't know. It's confusing. I don't know. It's confusing to me. Or it's like
I will say, I will say this too, Jared, about like the whole international dating scams and everything, I don't think it's necessarily a scam if a gentleman goes abroad to meet a lady, and then he just ends up not being able to find somebody, because a lot of times, like, I was looking through pictures of what these like gatherings look like with like I saw some actually in Colombia, some in Ukraine, some in the Philippines, where you have a lot of older dudes and then really attractive young women. And I mean,
who brings the women together?
It's usually the people
who
probably from
this?
the matchmaking company, I guess.
Oh, right. There's a company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some company or agency or something.
There's
some middle
who starts
person
that company? What kind of
some people make really good money doing
I know,
it,
but
though.
you got to be a scumbag, right? That seems like a real scumbag industry.
But see, Jared, I think you're only considering the people who actually are trying to scam.
So.
I guarantee you there are people who genuinely want to be a good matchmaker and want to. I'm serious.
I mean, I guess so. I guess so.
I mean, how else are you going to have a good business?
I guess so.
You know?
Like, yeah,
So-
you have to have success stories, especially now that we have Google and Yelp. You know, people can get reviewed.
Yeah, right. Went there and no ladies liked me. Never signing up for this service.
Yeah, they
again.
just took my money. And
But the thing is, I don't think it's a scam if you go over there and you don't meet someone who's attracted to you if you are not a good person to be a partner with. Like, I think there are some people who just some neckbeards who think they can just go to Thailand or the Philippines or Russia or Ukraine, and they just think, oh yeah, I can go there, and because I'm a Westerner.
I've never heard that insult before. What's a neckbeard?
A neckbeard? A neckbeard is like someone who only has a beard
like
down
an
here,
Abraham
and they're
Lincoln?
just like nerdy and dorky and have no social skills.
I've never heard that
the
as
term neckbeard.
I mean, I know what a neckbeard is, I guess, but I've never heard
Just
it
Google
used as like
neckbeard memes, Jared, and you won't be disappointed.
I've never heard that as an insult.
There's all sorts of good ones there. You know, but sadly, I think the reason why we do see these scams is because of loneliness. You know, these poor people are lonely and they want to find a partner. They want to find someone, and so they go this route, and it's too bad. You know, it's
so
just a
rude
shame.
of you. How dare you?
What?
That I just looked up neckbeard.
Oh, neckbeard memes?
Yeah.
How is that rude of
Oh,
me,
not
Jared?
neckbeard memes.
I'm just speaking the
Actually,
truth.
I should look at meme because, hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, that's what yeah. Oh jeez. So neckbeard is like you're sort of the kind of in your mom's basement kind of guy you think of, like at like 40.
Right, exactly. So
Essentially.
I want to give a couple more. If you do decide to go the online
Are you considering
international dating route, what?
Are you considering it?
What online internet
Especially
dating
during
route?
pandemic times, it seems like a good time to get into it.
Not really, but
you have a lot of
I would
time
only-
before you can actually travel, so you can communicate, get to know each other.
I mean, it's not a terrible idea, but I would rather use online dating like before I go somewhere. So if I know I'm going to be traveling somewhere, then a few weeks beforehand I might hop on.
Yeah.
But see, for me, I'm not going to hop on an online dating site.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it'd probably
couldn't you
be
do that
an
with
app.
like Tinder? If you pay for it,
Yeah.
you can like go to any location.
Yeah,
Like
and I
how-
don't think it's that expensive to do where you can go to different locations. I used to pay for it when I was living in the Czech Republic because I was traveling to different countries, and you could set it to different locations. But obviously, since then, I haven't.
See, that even seems like a smarter idea than like
I would use a dating app before I would use some weird dating website where you have to pay a bunch of money and then there's a matchmaker.
.qv,
which leads
QV, yeah. Sorry, that
right,
was,
which leads me to some tips. If you do decide to go this route, we're not here to judge one way or another,
Not at
ladies
all,
and
no.
gentlemen.
You
If you do
neckbeard.
decide to go that route, and and I will say that dating internationally can be very fulfilling. I've had relationships with people from different countries, and it's been a great experience. You learn a lot. You can, learn some cool stuff in a foreign language. You can get to see some amazing places, learn about other cultures. I mean, I think there's a lot of advantages to dating someone from a different country. So the first thing I would say is use a dating site where you can communicate with the person directly. You don't want to be using a dating site where there's like an agency or someone. And look, I'm sorry, but if you need a translator to be able to communicate with someone from that country, maybe you should just take the time to try to learn some basics in the language, or try to meet someone who actually does speak the same language as you. Because I really do not believe you can have a good relationship with someone if you don't speak a similar language. I think that's a really big key. You can tune into the Untranslatable podcast to learn some badass untranslatables in whatever language.
Yeah, we'll get you a
to
mail
help you
order, bride.
Speak for yourself.
Send us
Start the untranslatable dating service.
Yeah, starting payment of $1,000, and then we'll work with you on a retainer of an hourly fee, which will be determined.
Exactly. The next tip, though, as well, is really be smart about like what you and what the other person is looking for, because in different countries they have different cultural expectations for relationships, and a lot of countries it's kind of expected, if you are going to date someone seriously, that you might get married to them. And if marriage is not in the cards for you, I think it's only fair to be transparent and upfront.
That's not a scam. Well, that's just make sure you're understanding other people's cultures when you're dating internationally,
right. Which I'm trying to give people tips here, Jared. I would say that's a tip, is it not?
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought the episode was about dating scams. Go ahead, keep
right. I'm saying. Remember, I said if you do decide to do the online dating route internationally to avoid some scams,
okay,
I would say maybe you're right. I guess it's not technically a scam, but I think it's just like you said, a good relationship tip, I guess.
Yeah, right.
You're right. You're right. Another thing though too is I would really try to avoid, like if it's too good to be true, it probably is, and that's, I think a lot of people, what happens is... It's funny
that you say that though, because the stories that you've seen, that you've been telling me, they're not even too good to be true. Like this dude that in the Ukraine that's following this lady around, and she's like, "Oh, I'm busy. Sorry. Oh, I'm busy." That's not too good to be true. That's terrible.
Right. No, I mean more so like just the way they talk to you, the way, like, another big thing, Jared, do you know what love bombing is?
No, I've never heard of love bombing.
So love bombing is basically when someone, especially at the beginning of a relationship, just compliments you all the time. They they basically just try to bomb you with as much love and compliments and stuff like that. Talk about, I can't wait till in the future we do this, we X, Y, and Z.
That's hilarious. There's an NERD song called Love Bomb, and that song now makes a lot more sense. I've been listening to this song for like a decade. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just
learning something new, Jared.
Saying the rest of the lyrics in my head. I was like, oh, I see. Now I get it.
Right. And I think love bombing is how a lot of, I hate to say this, but older, more desperate people get taken advantage of. They haven't had someone say such nice things to them in so long, and it sucks them in a little bit, So be wary of that. Be wary of these people's intentions. Are they really who they say they are? And can you verify that? In my opinion, if you can only chat with somebody online, don't do it. It's a scam. You should be able to do a video call, a phone call, so you know that person. A video call especially, so you know that person's real.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just laughing because I'm like, who are these tips for?
These tips, I guess, are for people who
are we giving these tips to? Like someone's like, yeah, you're right. I need to stop giving Svetlana money right for no reason. You're right.
I wonder how long these type of companies will exist, because I would like to think that as our generation and younger generations grow up, they won't be using these types of things, or they'll be using them in the correct way, so they won't be getting scammed.
Yeah,
but who knows?
Since I've been in the workplace, like in the professional workplace, you have to do the corporate training. Every year since I've been in the workplace, I've had to do corporate training telling me not to click on random sites, not to send money to strangers that proposition you for money online. You would think that at some point it would stick in. I even though the corporate training to me seems redundant and ridiculous, I'm like, listen, I get why you keep doing it. People keep clicking on these random sites. So yeah, no, I don't think it's ever going to end. Because that's the thing, is it's like they're playing into people's delusions,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Jared, let me ask you, what do you think? And this is according to consumer.gov. What do you think are kind of the 3 signs of a scam? And I will say 2 of these 3 signs are kind of interrelated.
Asking for money.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Not showing their face. Like
that one actually is not in there, but
video.
I would agree with you.
Okay. The 3 signs.
So one is related to asking for money.
One is related to asking for money. Saying that they're poor and that they're in a bad situation.
Exactly. Yeah. So asking for money, claiming to need money for emergencies, hospital bills, travel, plans to visit. And then the first one, though, Jared, and what I mentioned about love bombing, professes their love quickly and claims to be overseas for business or military.
Okay.
And once again, this is why I would advise someone, if you really want to meet someone from another country, to date, to marry, whatever, just go to the country. And if you want to use a dating app before you go for a little bit to try to maybe make some contacts,
yeah, but these people can't meet people in person. If they could just, like you say, go to the country, you mean like just meet someone, like go to a bar and meet someone?
Yeah. I mean, go and spend some time over there in that country and try to meet people.
Yeah, but isn't that the reason why they use these sites, is because they can't meet people? Just like,
well, I think it's honestly just because you're looking for obviously the quote unquote easy way, which is to sit at home on your computer and just look at a couple, people that are incredibly beautiful or attractive or whatever, and then you message them. It's easy, it's convenient.
Well,
but I think I
feel like I just feel like people feel like it's their last resort. I don't know. They're like, I can't meet anyone, and then that's the result.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. I would totally agree. And I think a lot of people out there are, they're looking for a relationship or love or a family or whatever. But it's just too bad to see some of these people, get scammed. Let me say this, Jared. I don't feel bad that, I feel like on one level they kind of did it to themselves. I don't feel bad that both of these guys spent all that money. They did it themselves. I do feel bad, though, that these, you do see the pain and hurt from these people, because they really do think that what they are paying their money for is going to somehow help them and get them into this, serious relationship with this, person who, I'm sure they have idealized, that's crazy.
That's what reality TV has become. It's just exploiting other people's, people, period.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. It's, what's just so funny though, Jared, is when I was also looking up and doing some research for this episode today, one of the first things that popped up, it's funny you mentioned FBI, and I should have mentioned this earlier when you mentioned that. One of the first things that popped up on my computer was actually from the U.S. Embassy and consulates in Russia. About internet dating scams. So, Jared, I want you to just humor me and Google internet dating scams U.S. consulate Russia, and so you can just kind of see what I'm seeing as well.
Can you just share your screen like you did before?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can do that. I think that can be arranged. 1 second here. Let me just move a couple things around. Alrighty. So what I am sharing for our people listening out there is from the U.S. consulate. Internet dating scams in Russia, and here we go. The U.S. Embassy receives reports almost every day of fraud committed against U.S. citizens by internet correspondents professing love and romantic interest. Typically, the Russian correspondent asks the U.S. citizen to send money or credit card information for living expenses, travel expenses, or visa costs. The anonymity of internet means that the U.S. citizen cannot be sure of the real name, age, and marital status, nationality, or even gender of the correspondent. You could be sending your hard-earned cash to Boris in Novosibirsk, and you have no idea.
Of course.
And here we go. So according to the U.S. Embassy and Consulate in Russia, the internet dating scams can include some of the common elements: misrepresentation of the costs and requirements of a U.S. visa. So they say, I need the U.S. visa. You need to send me $2,000. And then you send them the visa.
Wow.
Claims that they must buy airline tickets only in Russia. Use of professional models' photos gleaned from internet websites. As Jared mentioned earlier on in today's episode, looking up those pictures on Google can be very
reverse
helpful.
Google searches on that.
That's right.
Or Google image searches, whatever they call it.
Right. Sudden financial hurdles to leaving Russia, requests to send money only through a specific company, or the scan of a usually fraudulent U.S. visa to prove intent to travel.
Sure, of course, yeah.
So it's really interesting. And some of these facts, Jared, are just so funny. Like
frequently asked questions.
Yeah, thank you. FAQs is what I should have said.
Right.
So here, let me just pull these down and just read through.
Now, see, this is now I'm interested. I
Yeah.
want to hear what people are asking.
Exactly. So here we go, Jared. I've heard a lot about internet dating scams. I would like to know whether this person I have met is for real, but all I have is his or her name or photo. Is it enough to find out that he or she exists? Unfortunately, the U.S. Embassy cannot verify the identity of this individual.
That would be
Russia has
like
strict
the full-time job of the embassy if they could. Just like people
right?
say, is this person real? That would be the only thing they did.
Exactly. And then here I've heard there's blacklists of known internet dating scammers. Does the U.S. Embassy have a blacklist? Where do I find this blacklist? I mean, how many times have they gotten questions about this from people?
So they want to like have like a they think there's like a database of scammers that's just online and you can like compare pictures.
Right. Or yeah. Who knows?
I think I've been scammed. I have sent this individual $2,000 and now I find out his or her visa is fake. How do I get my money back? These people
don't,
are idiots.
because you're an idiot.
Yeah, these people all deserve it. I'm sorry. This is so dumb.
Yep.
I want to lodge a
complaint. Yeah, I want to lodge a complaint with the Russian government and the U.S. authorities about being scammed. I'm sorry, but you people, please, as I've said, if you really want to meet a Russian woman or man, just go over there.
Are we the Karens of the world? I want to lodge a complaint with the Russian government and the U.S. authorities about being scammed. That's a real Karen move.
Right. Or also this one. Once again, I would never fly someone to the U.S. that you've never met before, that you've met online. That's just stupid. It's silly. Do not do that. I don't care how desperate
you are. Unless
you're
a basketball player, then it's cool.
There you go. I would like to bring my foreign friend to the United States to visit, and he or she says I must wire money for a ticket, but I don't want to send it directly. If I send the money to the embassy, so the embassy is going to be your wingman or wingwoman.
Yeah,
okay?
The embassy is now a travel agency.
Right?
Can you buy the
and
ticket?
A dating agency as well. Right, my foreign friend. Yeah, so a lot of this just boils down to sending money, basically. I mean, that is really.
These are all ridiculously dumb questions, but they're FAQs for a reason. They probably get these shits all the time.
So I do want to show one other last thing here, Jared. This is an article, actually. Let me go up to the title here. The Geography of Online Dating Fraud. And what's fascinating about this article here, Jared, is that this right here, I'll zoom in a bit, is just the countries where you see some of the most scam profiles. And some of these I found a little bit surprising.
I mean, Nigeria is not surprising. That's the stereotype of internet fraud, is Nigeria.
Exactly. I did find Ghana surprising, though, because I at least hadn't heard so much about like scams coming from Ghana.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Malaysia for highest number of scams per 20 profiles, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia. South Africa is number 4, which I also find surprising. UK and the US are in 5 and 6
I'm surprised the UK is above the US. I'm surprised the US is not higher, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Turkey.
Yeah. India, Togo, Senegal, Philippines, then Ukraine, then Russia. I'm going to be honest. I would have figured Philippines, Ukraine, and Russia would have been higher up.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm a little biased just because of what I've known about mail order brides and dating scams.
But yeah,
in the
Russia's
past.
also kind of like a stereotype for that too. The online dating scams.
Well, and the reason is obviously pretty clear. I mean, if you've ever seen Ukrainian or Russian women, I mean, they're gorgeous. They're I'm speaking from the male perspective here. Now, the interesting thing with Nigeria and Ghana. I have heard stories about actually Russian women pursuing Nigerian and Ghanaian men, younger Nigerian and Ghanaian men.
Let's team up and make a super scam team.
Right. Exactly. It's crazy.
The super scammers. Nigerians and Russians unite.
Man, just imagine the kind of money they'd be pulling in. It'd be scary, Jared. Absolutely scary. But yeah, it's crazy stuff, man. These dating scams. I mean...
But I'll say this: so your background is a club, which is a classic sort of place to say meet someone trying to lure like a tourist maybe into a dating scam or something like that. And you know, the song of the pod that you chose makes a lot of sense because that's certainly something you'd be hearing in that place, I would imagine.
Oh, it definitely does. And the song is called Tvoya Glaza, which is Russian for Your Eyes. And it's by, let me find her name here. It is by Loboda. I think that's how you say it. It does have that kind of stereotypical Russian style techno beat, Jared. That like
it's very generic.
It's definitely
the beat is very generic to me, but like Europeans love that shit, especially like those club goers. And I'm like, this is horrid.
Not a fan, Jared?
It's how long can you jump along to this? Like every song is like, you know, some remix of some popular song with like the same beat under it. Now that's obviously not what this is, but that's what it sounds like, you know, just like
similar tempo,
just a
usually.
generic sort of techno beat under it. And that's just like the European club music, and it's
you know
all
what,
sounds
though,
the
Jared?
same to me.
You know what though, Jared? I will say this: I went to a club in Beijing, and it was Russian night, and they were playing this kind of music. It was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe after 6 vodka Red Bulls, but
of course. Of course.
But maybe not me just soberly listening to it in my little mini office.
Well, you clearly needed to take a couple shots of vodka with a pickle, and then you would have been good to go.
Yeah. You know what? I'll give it a second listen, and I'll get back to you on the next episode, and I'll just rip some shots.
There we go. But I want to read some of these lyrics here, Jared, because it's kind of some of the lyrics I find kind of interesting. And I think some of this is a little bit apropos to our topic today, a little bit. So here we go, Jared. In your eyes, I can hear your thoughts. This is from lyricstranslate.com, so you know who knows how 100% accurate it is, but here we go. And my Russian is not nearly good enough yet to try to translate all this. Anyways, in your eyes, I can hear your thoughts. The rain is singing in broken English. Maybe we are at risk now. It's too quickly, and she like sings the quickly, echoes it kind of, which is, you got to be careful with those scams, Jared. If they're coming in hot and fast, professing their love after your second or third message, you better be careful.
Yeah, no one's that into you.
Right, exactly, unless they really want something from you. Next stanza here, Jared. I can't imagine my world without you. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. You got into my heart like a shot. It's too quickly. Your eyes are as clear as the sky. There's no way back.
Yeah,
the gravity is so
these
strong.
These are generic words.
Yep. Right, exactly. But I think this topic is kind of or these lyrics do kind of somehow relate to our topic today.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine like you're in Miami and you see like these old dudes with these young mamas, and you just see like I just imagine this music. You know, it actually kind of reminds me of like a scene from Bad Boys 2 or something like that when they would go to the club. But yeah, still that club is sort of my nightmare. Although that place does look cool when no one's in it. I'll say that. Although there's an odd amount of chandeliers.
Well, it's very easy, Jared. I can solve your problem. Just get to the club right when they open at 9 o'clock. Have 2 drinks and go home.
You know, I actually went to a club in France when I did that little program thing in college in Paris, and we got there early, and they had like appetizers.
Oh, you never do that. Okay.
And they had like free champagne up to a certain hour, and they had like pasta and shit. It was not good, but it wasn't bad. And us Americans were starving most of the time we were there because the French people ate like once a day at 10 o'clock at night.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I could not do that. Definitely could not do that.
But yeah. So yeah, that song was generic, and I've already forgotten it. So, but
there
if you
want,
if you're into it, Chad maybe put it on the YouTube, and because I just said
I'll
that,
double check, but it should be there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, check it out. Tvoya Glaza.
You betcha.
I believe it's Loboda. I do like it, Jared, because I think the repetitiveness helps me a little bit understand some of the Russian words.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Have you ever heard of something called 8D music, 12D music? I just heard about this recently. Don told me about it, and it's essentially like what they do is they manipulate the music, so it's kind of like it's spinning around your headphones. So
Okay.
like you're supposed to listen to it in headphones, I think, and it sounds like it's like it's sort of spinning around you. They just kind of move where the noise
cool.
comes from.
Okay.
It was cool, but it's just like I feel like I just rather listen to the song.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. But yeah, check it out on our YouTube channel, Untranslatable Podcast. And it will put you in a clubbing mood, I would say. That's for sure. Don't listen to it but right before you're trying to go to bed, I would say, Jared. What do you say about that?
Oh, you think it's good? Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly one that likes to like put stuff on like a sleep timer before I go to bed. I probably wouldn't have this in the playlist for sure.
Right. Most definitely. Well, to recap about today's episode about international dating scams.
Don't get scammed.
Yeah. Number one, don't get scammed. That's great advice, Jared. So some ways to not get scammed. Don't send money to someone you don't know, obviously. I mean, it's sad we even need to say it, but I feel like the fact that we do see this. Or don't send money to someone that, I don't know, just don't be sending money to randos on the internet, people. It's just weird. Unless you want to donate that money, I guess, and I don't know. Anyways, I just find it a little goofy. Not something I would recommend. Also, too, make sure, you can talk to that person directly. Especially, Skype, FaceTime, doing some type of video. And honestly, I would recommend avoiding the online dating as much as possible and just trying to meet people wherever you're trying to go. And if you want to meet someone from a different country, I think that's awesome. But try to learn a little bit about the language and the culture.
There you go.
And we'll leave it at that. I think that covers a lot of it, Jared. What do you say?
Yeah, those tips really saved a lot of people out there. I'm sure our listeners were tuning in like, how can I get out of this scam that I've been trapped into now that they've heard this? And Chad...
Oh, watch out for those dangerous love bombs, Jared. You don't want to...
except for the song by NERD, which I enjoy.
I'm going to have to give that a listen now after this episode.
There you go. Song of the...
After I have my
backup
vodka
song of the pod.
and my... Right. After I have my vodka and enjoy my Tvoya Glaza.
What's a Tvoya Glaza?
That's the name of the song of the pod.
You said it like it was some sort of drink or something. Enjoy my Tvoya Glaza.
Oh, yeah. No, I just meant the song itself.
I gotcha.
But maybe we'll need to make a fancy new drink called Your Eyes. It sounds a little creepy, doesn't it?
That sounds like a drink. I could imagine that being a drink name.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first, people.
Yeah, get your Tvoya Glaza drink out.
That's right, here at the Untranslatable Podcast.
You're not going to do the muchas gracias.
Oh, you're right. I haven't sent it off. Yeah, so as we like to say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, everyone, thank you for your support. Dekujeme, muchas gracias, shisha, and do svidanya.
See, this song, I still love it. I'm not going to lie. It's a great song.
Best song of the pod that there ever has been so far. Bold statement, but I'll stand by it.
Even when I edit the pod, I bounce along to it.
I was getting hyped before we recorded because I was listening to the song of the pod. It's
funny because we used to like, I just imagine us like back in college if you would have like put this on. And you'd be like, no, it's good. I swear it's good. I enjoy this. And Rockman, see, that's what I am talking about.
Right.
Finally, some sense.
You better believe it. Well, you remember when we were drinking in I don't remember if it was my room our senior year or what, but we put on that techno music and our buddy was dancing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got the moves.
It was funny.
The fist pump.
That's all you need. That's all you need. And a couple jumps maybe here and there.
Yeah.
And you're good to go. But you got to do the head thing too, right? Like the head thing back and forth a little bit. Maybe. And that's about it. I think that's all you need.
Oh my gosh.
Techno Dancing 101 here at the Untranslatable Podcast.
Yeah. Now you're ready for the club behind you. Club Onyx.
That's right.
Whatever it's called. I imagine it's called Club Onyx.
Right.
Hypnotic with a Q. No, that's a beverage.
Well, hey, more of the reason why to name the club
Hypnotic
after,
and Hypnotic.
Right? There we go.
The title sponsor.
Yeah. Oh man, dude. It's so funny though. My high school teacher who had the mail order bride, he was such a weird dude. I mean, dude, imagine you're like a 60-some-year-old white guy, and you have a smoking hot, like 30-year-old Filipina, or I'm pretty sure she was Filipina.
How'd you like even see what she looked like?
I think he had a picture of her on his desk.
Oh, did he have any kids?
In the classroom. I think they had 1 or 2 kids. Yeah. So maybe he is actually a story of making it work somehow.
I guess so. We should. This is over. But did you hear about the Alec Baldwin thing?